Hi guys, my name is Juan Mendoza. I work here at the Lumery as a strategist and part of the strategy team here. I'm here with Lauren Gunston, and she is the global lead of Supporter Journey at Movember.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, good.
We're here to talk about a whole bunch of things as it relates to Supporter Journey and how you do that and some of the results we saw off the back of last year's campaign. So Lauren, tell me a bit about yourself.
So I've been at Movember for almost 5 years now, and I've had quite a few roles in my time at Movember. But I recently moved into the current role that I'm in, which is the global lead of Supporter Journey. So that is essentially working with most of the business to map essentially what supporters receive and what they see based on what we know about them, what time we want to talk to them, kind of what we want them to know, all of that. So it's a lot of coordination and pre-planning to make their experience as good as it can be.
So let's rewind back to May 2019. You were at the early phases of planning for the next Movember campaign. Tell me a little bit around the challenges that you were facing when it relates to Supporter Journey, what that looked like, what were those some of the key problems that you were facing, and sort of who was involved as well.
I mean, Movember's been around for over 15 years, so we have done things in a very specific way for such a long time. And as we've grown, because we started as not even a business or an organisation, it was just a couple of guys having a drink at the pub. We've now evolved into a place where there's multiple offices across the globe, global people working across global time zones, there's also local teams. So as we've grown, we started to become quite disjointed, where there were silos within the business. So it was, say, the marketing team looked after this, or the EDM team as a part of marketing did this part, and then there was a fundraising team over here who did all of this when it comes to, you know, the face-to-face stuff. And there's all these other teams, and actually by mapping all of that together, we knew that we would actually see a massive increase in consistency, but we didn't really know how to go about that. So it was one of those things where we needed to strip it back. Yeah. And start from scratch, and that's where we really needed to bring the Lumery in, because it's really hard to do that.
You had a bunch of challenges early last year as you were planning for the Movember campaign, as it sort of relates to the broader, more holistic Supporter Journey. Can you tell me a little bit around why you knocked on the Lumery's door, why we were engaged, and what were some of the considerations when you're in that early phase of identifying your challenges and problems?
We'd worked with the Lumery in the past when we started thinking about what a supporter journey could mean, and that was, I think, back in like 2016 or something, when you guys had just started, and it was essentially just getting Raj in to help us make decisions, which was great, but it meant that he was involved and understood our business really well, and when it came to you guys coming in, it was, you just embedded in the team really well, and that's what we really need, is we need people to understand our business, ask the right questions, and almost help us answer the questions that we already know ourselves. And that was the biggest thing for us, was just having having it be not difficult. Yep. And that was great. Yep. That's why we keep working with you as well.
Yeah. So Lauren, you've seen a huge year of growth last year in the 2019 campaign. Can you tell me a little bit around how our work helped enable some of that growth last year across almost every sort of category for Movember when it comes to fundraising and donors?
It did mean that we were a bit more prepared than we ever have been before. We've tended to be very reactive, I think, and even when we think about the way that the fundraising teams work, there's obviously a lot of proactive work that happens there to make sure that businesses and communities are on board, but then something happens and you have to be reactive to that. So having it's almost like a contingency plan, is understanding what the life cycle looks like, what people are going to experience, and then planning for that. It's so important for us. And that's where we saw things like, we had a massive uplift in acquisition, which is excellent because our ATL operated really well, but converting those people into active fundraisers is really important. So getting them off zero, we came up with a load of initiatives to get people off that $0 funds raised. And then once you kind of do that, it snowballs. And then also even getting people to what's the word I'm looking for? Getting people to register. Once you're registered, you're likely to bring a friend in to do it with you. So that's where all of the initiatives that we undertook, that really helped us to hit those goals. And then now the challenge for us is to continue that communication going forward. So once we get to this year's campaign actually, we'll be able to keep more of those people on board. It's less of a ask for us to keep filling up that bucket, because it's already, say, half full or 3/4 full.
Great.
Or full, I think.
Oh, full.
Yeah.
Glass half, glass full.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I love it.